Hello, Internet! My name's Dark Arts, and this is my top 5 games I played of 2014. These are the games that I think were the best of the best this year, and that I played. Because there's a lot of games that were really, really good that I didn't play, but that's for another list. Well, no, technically that's a different list, because the top 5 games I didn't play of 2014 was for a different thing, but then there are a lot of the other high-level games that I didn't play, like Dragon Age, or Evil Within, or Sunset Overdrive. I just didn't really feel like playing, but they were really, really good games. So, you know, priorities. Alright, before we start the list, let's do a honorable mention / rehash of last year's top 5 videos of 2013. A couple things have changed. Not the list. The list I still stick with. Those were my favorite, those were my favorite games. Those are probably my favorite games. That's the sentence I was trying to make. Of 2013. And that hasn't changed. But things have changed with those games. To start off with, my number 1 pick for last year, Risk of Rain. That game is still awesome. Go get it. Even more so now, because they've added new things. Ooh. They added 2 new characters, they added some more items and, challenges, that's the word I'm thinking of. More challenges to get those items, which are really challenging. And then they also added artifacts, which mess up the game system a little bit, and it's really good. It even adds more replayability to the game than it already does, and it is just brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if they do any more updates to that. Here's hoping. Make it my best game for 2015. Haha. From happy to sad, we need to talk about Archblade. I believe that was number 5 on my list last year. Unfortunately, Codebrush Studios shut down. They didn't exactly get their revenue back from after their game released and stuff, and it didn't quite meet up to expectations and or you know, people playing it as much. It was a good game, it had problems, and they weren't able to fix the problems, which is sad. The slight add-on for the cosmetic items / they do more damage / stats difference, and then you could pay to get them, was a bit pay-to-winny, because there were items that were better than other items, clearly. But once they shut down, they switched it all out to cosmetic, which is great. I really think that's a great thing to do. But it's very sad for me that they shut down, and the game is now no longer really being worked on, which is sad, because, again, sad. It was a great game. It had its flaws, but in core concept and stats-wise, it was really good. And I don't know what's going to become of it, but still, sad. Although, on the good news, people from Codebrush, a few of them, made a new company. I don't know what the name of the company is. I don't remember. But they're making a board game. Okay. No, that's fine. I like board games. I don't play them, but I like them. And hopefully when they're done with that, they'll make, like, little games here and there, and maybe they'll make more games later on. So I'm keeping an eye on you guys for the future. But as for now, sad face. A little bit of an honorable mention this year, Divinity Original Sin. Now, as the top 5 go, I have either completed the game or have gone far enough into the game that I know my true feelings for it, and that's a lot of hours. But for Divinity Original Sin, I haven't hit either of those quotas yet. It's a different game that I've been playing. I don't usually play a lot of the turn-based RPG big things, ever. I never did. I never did. So this one's a bit of a thing to chew on, and it's going to probably be on next year's 2015's top 5 list. But as for now, it's still an honorable mention, to say the least. It is brilliant how the characters interact, how the turn-based strategy is pretty damn my fault if I screw up. If my people die, it's my fault. most of the time. You know, there are a few times when I'm like, well, that's not supposed to happen. But you know what? It is a terrific, terrific game, and I am still looking forward to continue to playing it. So those words didn't make any sense. Now on to the list. Top 5 games of 2014, in my opinion, are these lovely gems, and I would recommend any of you to go and at least try them out. So, to start off with, we have number 5, Creeper World 3. I talked about this game on Flash Player, strangely enough, because the demo of it was, the demo for Creeper World was kind of a mini Flash game. It had very different variations of a randomly generated version for day-to-day things, and the one I showed you, which was an assortment of easy, medium, and hard, and then impossible levels to play to see if you really enjoyed the game. And it's a beautiful game. Creeper World is a terrific game. 2, still working on that one. That one's probably not as good as 1 or 3, but it's different, and it's still pretty good. 3, on the other hand, came out this year, and I love the fucking game. Oh my goodness. It takes what Creeper World did, which was a real-time strategy turret tower defense / resource management title with an enemy that really doesn't get used enough. It is a physics liquid enemy. The creep that seeps throughout the level contours to the geometry of the level, and you have to place strategic turrets and towers and stuff to stop it from killing you at your home base and stuff. And Creeper World 3 took that and just amplified it. It amplified the art, the game style, the mechanics. There are tons of new mechanics that both you and the creep can use. It is the best of the games, and I recommend to anyone to play, because it is a very difficult game. If you love the real-time strategy tower defense kind of games, you will love this. The early levels are easy and probably take about half an hour, if not 25 minutes, to beat. If not, you are a really good at the game kind of person, which I am not, which I've seen leaderboards be like 10-15 minutes. It's amazing. And then the harder levels take up to about an hour or so, even more, because they're really, really strategically sound. You need to plan for what's ahead, especially when the air bombs start falling. And it's very difficult, but very rewarding once you've completed a level. And once you have beaten the game, you have a few other modes. I haven't unlocked those yet, but also you have user-made levels, which is great. You can make it as destructive deviousness as you want to, and then just here, play this, see if you survive. It is wonderful, and I recommend Creeper World 3 to anyone who loves the genre. On the number 4 slot is Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I have played a lot of hours of the original Binding of Isaac, about 101, I believe, was the last check. And I'm not really playing that anymore, because Rebirth has taken that spot. I don't actually know how many hours, almost 50, I believe. I'm not sure. It feels like that. I can check, but I don't really want to. It feels like 50, but I'm still going very strong. It is the game is like the original, but so much better. It has I don't know. I like the graphic change. I'm still particular to the Flash version of the game, being that, you know, Flash me. I love Flash games and stuff. It still resonates with me quite well. But Rebirth is just the same, but better. I think that's the best way to describe the game. You have so many more items, so many more possibilities to choose from of characters, so many more chances to die, so many more unlockables. It is just a huge game. The amount of work put into this game is immense, and it's mind-blowing how much random you can do, and every single time you play, it's different. Pretty much every single time you play, you are going to have a different scenario, especially with Eden, right? Yeah, Eden's the one where you have to kill Mom, or is her heart, to unlock her, and then you need Eden tokens, and then the character herself has a couple random items already given to her. It's amazing. It is probably the coolest thing. I would never think of that. It's like, here, have a character that has random stats and a couple random items to start off with. Go for it. It's great. I rarely get to play her because I'm kind of on a 25 losing streak. I haven't been doing very well, but I am loving the game as of now, and I would recommend anyone that has played Binding of Isaac to get this, because it's the same but better, and you will not regret that. On the third spot on my list is Hearthstone. I think I'm a little addicted to it. I have to admit. I didn't think Blizzard would get their clutches on me. I knew that World of Warcraft wasn't exactly my type of thing. I was kind of looking forward to Heroes of the Storm. No, not Heroes of the Storm. The MOBA one. I think it's Heroes of the Storm. Oh my god. And Overwatch. I'm kind of looking forward to Overwatch, even though it's TF2-esque. I'm more interested in the Borderlands side of it than the TF2, because I'm actually not a fan of TF2 anymore. Reasons for another day. But as Hearthstone goes, I wanted to play a collectible card game that I could play with people. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or played Yu-Gi-Oh! I have a deck that I rarely, if ever, use, because none of my friends, have really, the concept down of the deck building and the playing. It's hard to play against anyone that doesn't actually play. But Hearthstone is very open to that. You have lots of people playing the game. You can play at any time of the day, and you will probably have a great time, unless you don't pay money. That, like I do. I don't pay a single, real amount of money. I want to say I grind for my money. I do my dailies, and I understand why people that played WoW and then stopped playing WoW after 7 or 8 years is like, oh, that fix. I just want to get that fix. Oh, yeah, no, that fix of WoW. I understand them now. I was like, really? You can't stop playing a game? No, you can't. It's very addictive. And it's a great game as well. I'm having a great time just trying to win with the cards I have. I've created an anti deck. It's a little complicated to explain. Maybe when I start doing a little bit of other things. That's for tomorrow's video, though. I might play that and show that off for a time. And all the other kind of decks I've built and I'm trying to build, because it's a very slow process when you don't put in real money. The only flaw with the game is the fact that to do it very well and win a lot, you need a lot of cards. I have created the best thing I can, but I just I'm winning more, but I'm not winning enough to extend the ranks, and I don't know. It's one of those hit or miss moments of things. I'm doing well for about 3 or 4 matches, and then 20 later, I'm not winning. But that's probably closer to my fault of not playing well, and/or everyone has a better deck that they look up on the internet. That's another problem. I don't like it when you do what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't remember what the word is, but be original. Create your own decks. That's what the fun of the game is. I know there's only a finite possibilities of things that actually work, but at least try to make something different. Other than that, I love the game. I'm going to be probably playing it for another few years and years to come, and Blizzard got me. I got the Blizzard fever. The Blizzard shakes. The shakes, because it's a snow metaphor, Blizzard shakes. Anyway, Cut it. We're going to number 3. No, number 2. We're going to number 2 now. So, this is a bit of a dilemma, predicament, conundrum kind of things. Not a quantum conundrum, because that one was enjoyable but not fun. That's an early channel joke. So, I don't know what to put at the number 2 and number 1 slot. I have the 2 games, but they're tied. I love them both for different reasons, and I think they both deserve number 1. So, this is my list, so fuck it. They're tied for the number 1 spot. Number 2 and number 1 are tied for the number 1 spot. To start off, we're going to use Dark Souls 2 as the starting point for the tie. Dark Souls 2, I knew I'd enjoy, but I didn't know I'd enjoy it this much. It is like Monster Hunter. That's why I wanted to play it. But then it's not Monster Hunter, and that's why I just love continuing to play it. I actually enjoy going into a battle, thinking I might die, and then succeeding, and then turning a corner and then dying to something I didn't expect. I love the thrill of finding a bonfire when I wasn't expecting to find a bonfire. Another, again, turn a corner and it's like, hey, bonfire! I also enjoy the, it's a great game to just play. It can be for the hardcores, but sometimes when you just want to do something, it's like, okay, I want to fight a boss. Let's go fight a boss. And I can do that. Granted, Monster Hunter would probably be more my style for that. But you know what? I think Dark Souls 2 fills the void until Monster Hunter Online comes on. And I have gotten the Prepare to Die edition for Dark Souls. I'm not going to be doing that on the channel. I'm going to be doing it for something else. But that's not going to be for a very long time. Not until I at least finish Dark Souls 2 on the channel. Because then I don't want to get confused with all the controls and the stats are different and things are different. You know, it's different, but the same. And I like that kind of stuff. Like Binding of Isaac was. Although Dark Souls 2 is tied for the number 1 spot here. The other one is Path of Exile. Path of Exile it's great. I think I've sunk a lot of hours into Path of Exile. I have a character, level 53, I believe, in the Merciless difficulty at the moment. And I started a new character, a Siren. I started a Siren, she's like almost 16, on the newest league, I think it's Torment, I think it's called Torment, I'm not sure. I love this game. It has so much customization to it. I want to play like this, especially with the Siren. I want to play. I started with a witch, and she's in Merciless difficulty. I stuck with while I'm playing. I'm kind of switching things out, figuring things out, changing my skills around and stuff, figuring out how the game works and how to do it. And I landed up with a very stat-heavy, no, not stat-heavy, very shock-heavy AoE witch, where I use Arc to just, zap all the enemies, and then I use Lightning Tendrils, and then I throw out a totem that shoots sparks everywhere, and I then have all these, I have this Vala gem that creates a minion of skeletons after a certain amount of time, after I've killed enough people. It's a great character, but, I don't know, there are flaws with it, being that it was my first character, and I've made a few other characters here and there, but they never really stuck with me. But now I'm starting with a Siren character, so I can customize it the way I want to, and I'm now using a dual-wield axe Siren, and then also on the second stat with a bow, just for, cleanup and stuff. It's not a very powerful thing. It's not what I'm putting all my stats into, but the axe, oh my god, the dual-handing axe is just mowing things down with the sweeping and the cleaving, and it's so good. I'm just blowing through the game, and it feels so good when you are against 15 abominations of human I don't know what, and then you just swing, and they all die. It is such a good feeling. And then you see all these yellows on the ground, and you're like, oh, I don't use that, but I'll sell that. Oh, I can use that. I can be better now. An orange! It is a great game, and I am going to be playing so much more of it, even though I've beaten it so many times. It's probably the same thing as Dark Souls 2. I'm on New Game Plus for my Sorcerer character. Unfortunately, it got nerfed, so he's not as strong as he once was, which is why I kind of stopped playing as him. Hopefully, when my Dual Wielder gets to New Game Plus, that'll be a bit more interesting, but that's for a longer time ahead. But yeah, those two games, Dark Souls 2 and Path of Exile, are now tied for the #1 spot for my top games of 2014. Alright, that was my list to rehash. On the #5 spot was Creeper World 3. It's a new twist on the real-time strategy plus tower defense kind of motif. If you are interested, I recommend it heavily. On the #4 slot, we have Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I'm looking forward to the new DLCs that will be coming next year. And of course, I will be continuing to play it. I have done a lot of stuff in it. I've even, I'm starting on the hardcore stuff on those characters with the red symbols. I'm starting on that. It's actually kind of challenging. On the #3 spot is Hearthstone. If you find me on the game, you will probably win, but you will be interested to see what kind of decks I pull out of my ass. Because I have a weird mage deck that is just spells. And it works. I still need Pyroblasts, though. Those are the only things that actually will cinch my victories. It's weird. It's very weird how that deck works. On the #2 slot and the #1 slot, because they are tied, we have Dark Souls 2 and Path of Exile. Path of Exile is a much more customizable Diablo-style game with great story and great combat, and Dark Souls 2 is probably not as good as the original Dark Souls, but for someone who hasn't played the original Dark Souls or Demon Souls, it is terrific, and it is brutal, and it also has great combat and great story. So, yay! That has been my list of the top 5 games I played of 2014. If you have other top 5 games that maybe I should have played, that I haven't played, please leave a comment below, or if you think a different game should have been on the list. I probably won't agree with you. Maybe I will. I don't know. That's how opinions work. So, thank you for watching, and hopefully you stick around for tomorrow's video, because that is going to have a lot of announcements.